Hello, welcome. Here we are again to podcast number 6. This one is going to be about activating your sovereignty and your authenticity. And truly, it's about stepping into our own power. As this is a huge part of what we're meant to be doing and to be stepping into more of. I was having these this recognition of what's coming, what we are in for, what we are going to be experiencing, what we are experiencing. And it's important as we move forward to step into ourselves and our own power. And I could see the vision behind that of we, you, me. There are many of us here that are here to lead with powerful energy. We've been pulled out of our sovereignty. We've been pulled out of our authenticity of who we are. And we've had all these programmed ways of being that have been ramrodded. I don't know where that word came from. I don't usually use that one, but these things that have just been pushed into us, starting from as soon as we entered into this world, through society, through our families, possibly through our friends, through our different societal groups that we've been a part of. And yeah, there's so much that has been pulling us out of our power, who we are, what we are. And it's time, guys. It's time to take that energy back and be in your wholeness, be in your power. This is the way that we are going to be shaping things around us in the future. This is the way we're going to be creating change and new ways of being, new communities, new experiences, new systems. It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with us stepping into our power. So I was having this inner knowing this week through my experiences with friends, people that I'm close to in my life, help to bring forward things within me that remind me to go back into myself. There were things that I was just recognizing the need to go back into my own energy. And so I'm going to get into this a little bit this week because we all fall in. I'm sure when I start talking about this stuff, you're going to be like, oh yeah. Yeah, I need to be thinking about this as well. But I just want to make sure I'm hitting my points. So this goes back into, first of all, it goes into self-awareness. Obviously, we need to be aware of ourselves and be introspective on what's going on, because we're never going to step out of those the old ways of being if we don't recognize them, if we don't see them, if we don't see them, we can't move past them. We can't move into something new. We can't change it. And a lot of it is just happening as part of who we are and what's going on around us currently in the world. But why not take it on consciously? Why not be more self-aware of it um, and move through things? So I want to come back to another really important point besides self-awareness is also self-love, because as you're going through things and you're trying to figure it out, it isn't always easy. It gets confusing. Things are always easier in hindsight, right? Like after we process it for a while, or after we've had some experiences and we can kind of look back and recognize what it is. And sometimes you could recognize it when you're in it, but we have this tendency to be really hard on ourselves and to um, maybe feel bad about ourselves, or, you know, the worthiness thing can come up a lot as well because of how we've been trained, programmed throughout our life here to look to other things to fulfill ourselves, when actuality it's so important to come back into your own self, into your own energy, and be giving yourself the love that you require, the understanding you require, the knowing you require, the care that you require, the way you would treat like one of your closest friends, your child, your pet, whatever it is, something that you love extremely. That is how you need to care for yourself, because in order for us to step into our sovereignty, into our power, we need to come back within and work on recognizing things that are hard for us. And, we like to avoid things, right? And put them off or not pay attention to them or distract ourselves in different directions. But one of the most important things for you to move forward and do the things you came here to do, your purpose, my purpose, all of our purposes, they're different. There may be similarities, but they're different. But in order for us to move forward in our own power, our own sovereignty, our own authenticity, we need to be our own best friend. I know I said that before. We need to love ourselves through this. So, that being said, there were a couple things I wanted to bring up. And I know sometimes I talk about similar things, but it all kind of goes back to the same thing over and over again. So maybe with some different examples, inner knowings, but our being, our being, how are you being is so important. How do you want to be? How do you want to feel? There are so many things wrapped up in how we are being, how we are feeling. So it takes a little untangling of some of those things. So I want to bring it back to focus. What are we focusing on? Are we focusing on things outside of ourselves? Are we getting wrapped up in people, groups, things that are outside of ourselves? And that's fine. We all do that. I mean, that's part of the distraction. That's part of the fun. That's part of what we came here to do. We came here to live in some of that. And I want to remind you to really, the main focus, no matter what's going on, it should be within you. Focusing on what's going on within you. This is, like I said last time, this is the only way that things are going to change. They're not going to change by looking at the broken systems. They're not going to change by trying to do something for someone else. Now, will that help you grow? Maybe that might help you. But if you're doing it to avoid changing something in yourself, or you're doing it to not recognize something in yourself, or you're not tapping into yourself and your own power, you're putting your focus outside of yourself into other things, into other people, into experiences, into things that are going on in the world. If that is taking up a huge amount of your time and your focus, maybe all of it, we tend to want to avoid things and maybe don't even recognize that we're doing that by going out and being distracted by the things. Oh, it's interesting. Oh, and we have these stories that we come up with. We have we argue our limitations a lot. I've actually been seeing that within myself, but also within um people in my life as well. There's just, you can only, so I would say other people to me is a good mirror, but really recognizing it in myself. If I'm seeing it in other people, a lot of times it's happening within yourself and you're not paying attention to it. So that's a little reminder too, to be looking inward, recognizing what's going on. If you're like always looking at someone else and thinking, oh, well, they could really be doing this, or they should be doing that, or this, or it's pulling you outside of yourself again. You need to bring it back in and figure out, why am I focusing so much on this? What am I focusing on? And when you are focusing on things that aren't bringing you to your uh, path of your most aligned energy and power, and your best being, then yeah, it's time to look at that and realign. And it's funny because it came up, I work with kids, and they were actually talking about something last week, and it came up, and I just had the teaching moment with them that, it's something that I recognized could help them. And then usually when you do it for kids, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, that's meant for me. That's meant for other people. That's meant for adults as well. So, we have these thoughts, and it was well, it doesn't matter what it was, but it was a thought that, might take them or you, depending on this example, down like a rabbit hole, or a um like a fear based hole. Like you get in those spirals of like overthinking things, and the next thing you know, you're like feeling so horrible within yourself, right? Because you keep going. You don't stop it. You keep looping those thoughts. And we're doing that in our lives, like over and over again, with different thoughts that we have. So just pay attention. I just want to remind you to pay attention to that. And when something comes up, try to think, how does this feel? Is this what I want to be thinking about? Is this what is going to bring me to a place of power within myself? Is this what's going to make my energy feel lighter and more expanded? Or is this like recognizing things and lowering the way you feel? It's so important to pay attention to that. And if it's something that isn't raising you, it's like, okay, well, I do need to observe this. I need to feel it. And then, but you don't need to hold on to it and stay in it and keep looping it over and over again. It's time to be like, oh, okay, that came up. Give yourself a little love, love that inner child within you. And then you get to parent them and you get to say, okay, yeah, now we're going to think about something else, or now we're going to do something else. Whatever it is that switches up that thought pattern, that and when we change our thoughts, oftentimes we change our feelings change as well. And they all kind of go along together, right? We are these multi-dimensional beings. We are multi-field level beings. There's so many facets to us that are interconnected. So it's time to consciously be self-aware and take on what you want to be and what you want to be creating in your life. What do you want more of? Do we want to focus on what we don't have? Or do we want to focus on what we do have? One of the things that really helped me this week pop out of, one of these cycles I was telling you about is, a friend of mine just said something funny to me and made me laugh. And I wasn't feeling great. But when I read that, it kind of flipped things. And next thing you know, I was like super grateful for all these other, it just flipped things. And I just realized what I was thinking or what I was overthinking. It wasn't what I thought it was. And it just switched everything. And all of a sudden I started to be grateful for things, which, when you do that, it usually pulls you out of it. But it really took me to a place of, I just kind of like flipped the script. I flipped the pattern. I flipped what was going on. And it sort of happened. But when it happened, I realized that, along with other things that were happening to me, wait a minute, we need to change these thoughts. We need to not just stay in the same looping thoughts and continue down that road. I was talking to another friend of mine today, and I just also came to the realization that, there were certain things that were being brought up and discussed. And I was like, wait a minute. If we keep discussing this thing, we are putting energy into it. So rather than leading with our energy and moving things out of the way, we're choosing to focus on something that's taking us in a direction that I don't necessarily want to focus on. I don't want to be in anymore. That it's time for the new way. It's time to move out of focusing on the things in the outside world, the things within yourself that are lowering how you feel, lowering your experience here. And we get caught in these thought patterns of thinking about what we don't have, thinking about the past. The other thing that was coming up for me this week was grief. There is a huge grief of past things being felt, things that could have been. Maybe like those, we have those should have been, should have been. But by focusing on the past, by focusing on our grief of those things, yes, feel them, let them move through you, but let's not stay in that. Let's choose to love who you were back then. Know that you did your best. You we have come so far in our lives. I mean, even if you're just breathing and you're still here, I mean, you've done a lot. I'm not going to lie. We've all been through a lot of stuff. This place is not easy by far, but it's time to switch that up. And why are we going to stay in that suffering state anymore? I don't want to stay in that. Do you want to stay in that? Yeah. How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? It is a process, an ongoing process, because you have to be self-aware. You have to be observing. But when things come up, let's not hold on to them. Let's choose to flip it and change into something new. Do something different. Let's not hold on to stuff. Let's not stay attached to things that aren't serving you. Let's not stay attached to the stories of the past. Let's not stay attached to the shoulds and the worrying of the future. Let's be in the now, loving yourself if you can. Have love for others around you as much as possible. At least try to have neutrality, right? And not be super attached. But yeah, it's an ongoing process. It's not like we're going to go and all of a sudden you are this powerful sovereign being. We're going through it in each moment. So let's have a little grace and love for ourselves as we move through it, because you don't have to be perfect. We can make mistakes, or oftentimes when you do something and you feel like it's a mistake, it's often a redirection of something that was not meant for you. It was not meant to be, or maybe you chose not to do something, and that's okay. How do we want to feel now? How do we want to be? What do we want to do going forward? We want solutions. We don't want to sit and just stay in the same place, in the same cycles, in the same way of being. We want to move out of that and be more powerful, be in our sovereignty, be in our love, be in our joy. We want to align with what we are meant to do here. What did you come here to do? What brings you joy? What do you want to do more of? Let's do that. Let's enjoy that. Seeing if I missed anything. And then, like I said, it's an ongoing process. We want to keep renewing ourselves to this path, to this I'm not interested in suffering. Let's flip the script. Let's come into our own energy. And this, you're meant to lead yourself. Stop trying to control things. Stop trying to distract yourself. Stop trying to keep doing things that keep yourself small. I mean, aren't we done with that? Aren't we ready to just rocket ship off into a more aligned way of being, a life that we enjoy, that there's inspiration, there's love, there's joy, there's openness. Our energy is meant to move and change everything around us. If you are unconsciously looping the way we've been taught, and there are outside forces wanting us to continue looping, They want us to continue in these lower patterns of thought. They want us getting stuck in order to stay small, stay being the the looshing energy for them, right? But is that what you want? Is that what you want to be? I don't want to be that. No, I definitely don't want to be that. I don't want to feel that way anymore. I don't want to be stuck in the suffering. We don't have to suffer in order to expand here anymore. Maybe we never did, but it really feels like a lot of us are waking up to this now. A lot of us can see things beyond. We can tap into our intuition. We can come into our own energy. I'm just reminding you of you are so powerful. You are the one that can control everything that's going on around you. I know it doesn't feel that way sometimes. I know I have challenges with that, and I have to renew and remind myself nothing outside of me is more powerful than me, at least not to my life. And any other things that come in to disagree with that, they are arguing for your limitations. They are. And we tend to want to argue for our limitations. We want to hold on to them. Why? Why do we want to hold on to them? Do we want to stay in suffering? No, I don't. You can. You can choose to do that. It's okay. Sometimes we have to get tumbled around. And maybe that's what you came here for. And that's okay too. That's okay. There are people that came here to just be small. And that's okay. But if you're watching this, you're probably not one of them. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If our energy aligns and you're here, we're here to lead with our energy. We're here to move things out of the way. We are here to create new things, new systems, new ways of being. I'm excited for it. You guys, we're going to do this. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, I look forward to everything that we do together, on your own. I just know that you guys are out there in your own localities where you are holding down the fort. You are the energy, even in our limited states, is so powerful. So just imagine if you take back your own power and your self-awareness and consciously renewing yourself, reminding yourself, giving yourself that love, and being in your power. Not in like an egoic sense or anything like that. I know if you're here, then it's about being humble. It's about yourself and how can we serve the whole. But first, you have to work on yourself. You have to take on or take off whatever you need to within yourself. How are you being? How do you want to be? How do you want to feel? Okay, let's see if I forgot anything. I don't think so. I think that, yeah, I had this huge visualization of leading with our energy. And, you know, I've mentioned this before, but I really feel energy strongly and I can see it. Um, I can, the visions that I have, but I see waves. So I imagine, the place that we're in is, it's like we're in an ocean, right? And there's currents going different directions, and, different things are happening around us. And we get to choose. Do we just want to be slushed around in it? I mean, do you just want to be floating around in it and let things affect you? Or do you want to be in control of yourself? Do you want to step into your own sovereignty, your own power, your own authenticity? Take off the stuff. Let go. Drop that cloak of crap off your back. That is not you. All those things, we just keep throwing them off as we see them. It's a process, right? And do you just want to be slushed around in that? Or do you want to be creating the wave? Shouldn't we be creating the waves, making them go and reorganize things the way we know they're meant to be? I'll leave that visual for you. So thank you so much for coming on again. I'm so excited to have you here. You guys are the best. And please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, reach out if you would like to co-create, or if you just want to share something. I mean, I'm here. So yes, you guys are awesome. Like I said, please comment, please like it. That will help the algorithm. And if you feel that this would resonate with some people you know or communities you're in, please share my video. All right. And if you haven't watched the ones before this, I recommend you going back and doing that. They kind of build a little. Not that each one isn't its own individual message, but yeah, you would definitely, if you got something out of this one, you will most likely get something out of the other ones as well. So thank you for being here and watching with me. I love you guys. Let's go. Let's remember, take some breaks throughout the day. Deep breaths. Stay self-aware. Love yourself. Renew yourself. Let's go create those waves that we are meant to in this place, this time, space, this world, right? Oh, there was one more thing. One more little tidbit. So another big realization I was having was, as there was some weird energies going through, and I was recognizing how I needed to come back in my own energy, and I had all these different epiphanies this week. But another one, I just wanted to provide. So I know I've told you guys, when weird energy comes up or stuff's going on with you, going out in nature. There is a lot of energies and things around us that are challenging. A lot of it's in the collective, whatever it is. And many of us are very empathic. So we are going to feel it. And if it's yours or if it's not yours, I recommend going to a tree, spending time with the tree, put your hands on it, lean up against it, sit with it, have it up against your back, and put your intention out there and feel free to transmute things through the tree down into the earth. The earth is here, nature is here to help us renew ourselves. And that's one of the most powerful, strong ways to do it. Trees are rooted down into the ground. You can give something that is not serving you or the collective or whatever. You just go give it to a tree, send it down into the earth, ask it to be returned, transmuted back into something new through the tree. It works. It's beautiful. I so suggest you going out in nature, but the tree trick, I'm telling you, it's amazing. I did it this week. I actually have been doing it for a long time. A little less consciously because I just spend the time with the trees. And, but yeah, now I'm consciously intending for it to take things and to change it back. And then the soil takes it, it filters it, it can come back. That energy is not lost, it is recycled into something new, into something better. I love you guys. I will see you next time.